Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Central Texas Life. Ann Harder here with you, and my sweet friend, Andrea Kosar, is with Andrea Morgan on the air. We were compadres at Channel 25 at KXXV for quite a while. You were our morning anchor, and I was doing that little midday show. And
we got to overlap a little bit.
We got to overlap. I got to be with the morning people and the evening people, and got to know and love you, and so excited to see how your career has progressed in the last couple of years. This was 2020. We both left the station about the same time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm really excited to work with you again. It's fantastic.
I know. Well, when I saw that you had been named the president and CEO of the Cen-Tex Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I thought, this is perfect. But I was kind of surprised because I thought, is this something you had envisioned for your career path?
You know, I've been involved with the chambers since high school, and I always tell young people, students and college students, to get involved with the chambers of commerce. I had the opportunity in my hometown back in Florida to get involved with them. And then when I made my way to Baylor, I got involved with the Hewitt Chamber and the Waco Chamber and the different chambers and got to know some great folks. And my predecessor at the Hispanic Chamber, Alfred Solano, was one of the wonderful folks that I got to know back when I was at Baylor. And,
so this is something that's always kind of been in your pocket, as it were, as a sort of a passion, the work of chambers.
Absolutely. Definitely. And I think leaving the news, it's interesting because I get to do storytelling in such a different way with all of the small businesses and entrepreneurs that we work with. So it's been great so far.
Yeah. Well, so you were named, I think, in May, and it looks like it's been a whirlwind.
Oh my gosh, yes. I can't believe it's already September. Time is just flying by so quickly, and we've been up to so many great things at the Hispanic Chamber. So it's been fantastic so far, yes.
Yes. Well, so I mean, you stepped into the shoes of someone who's kind of a legend and has done. My mic just keeps creeping away, so I'm going to keep bringing it forward. So what plans? What do you see as being the mark you want to leave on the Hispanic Chamber?
Definitely. Well, I think in the first couple of months, it's changed every couple of weeks. And then I learned more and more about the wonderful things that we can do and the wonderful people and organizations that we can partner with. So far, we've been doing a lot of work within the Hispanic Chamber on a new initiative that we call Escalando. So it's a new program that is workforce development for entrepreneurs and small business owners fully in Spanish. So it's the first of its kind in Waco.
Really?
And we've been very excited promoting that. We've done 2 seminars so far, so it's every other month. We just started in June. We had a great turnout, and it's been really meaningful to the community. And, Waco, we have a great Hispanic population that's growing and growing, but within that Hispanic population, there are a lot of folks who they primarily speak Spanish at home. So we wanted to make sure that we are serving that community and serving the folks that want to start their own business or have created their own business. They want to leave a legacy for their family and make sure that we can do everything to help with connecting folks with the resources that are bilingual in our community, because that's also growing a whole lot as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of resources on a lot of levels, for folks that if they just, knew how to tap into it.
Definitely. So our first seminar was on planning for your insurance needs, making sure that you're prepared for any liabilities. Our second one was financial planning. And one of the families that owns a business here in town, they stood up, and they're so sweet. They're very active with our Hispanic Chamber, so I absolutely love them in their restaurant. But they stood up and said, when we tried to start our business 8 years ago, we walked into a bank and we were turned away and told, hey, go find your translator and then come back. And I don't think that's the case in Waco anymore. There are so many wonderful resources and businesses that are trying to make sure that everyone is served. And so we want to make sure that we're getting the word out there about those businesses so everyone can really take part in Escalando and in the things that the Hispanic Chamber is doing in one way or another.
Yeah,
we just want to connect everyone. Climbing.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Yeah, it's exciting to see what's happening in our business community, how many new businesses have come online, and how is that shaping up in the Hispanic community? I mean, I'm sure you have all the numbers and the stats, just tucked away in your head.
Yeah, there's definitely a growing Hispanic-owned business population in Waco, and I think that's something to be celebrated, but also kind of recognized at this point. I don't know if a whole lot of people know that one of the founding members of Waco was Hispanic, Jacob de Cordova, and we are trying really to get his name out there because this isn't new for Waco to have the Hispanic population or the business community really cropping up.
No.
But it's new to really push for that celebration right now, and we want everyone to be celebrating with us.
Well, I've certainly heard his name. Is there a street? I mean, is there something maybe?
We're working on some things.
Yeah, do something a little more permanent to honor his contribution.
Absolutely. So he still has family members that are active with the Hispanic Chamber, and we have a great connection to Monica Shannon, who knows the family members and relatives really well. So we've been connecting with his descendants and trying to figure out how we can honor them. So
That's neat.
Hispanic Heritage Month is coming up, and we're definitely we have a couple things in mind, but they're going to be surprises. And then I'll talk to you about that later.
Monica has been on this show before, so yeah,
great.
And what a great person to kind of get involved with trying to plan. It's what great ideas she has. When you were at Channel 25, you started a new franchise for us there, and I think they're still doing it.
Yes, which is great to see.
Yeah, which is let's see,
Positively Central Texas. Yes,
Positively Central Texas. What did you learn from that, from your time, as a journalist, and how that affects what you do now at the chamber?
I think we were both there whenever we were going through a transition at the news station, where it was a little bit of a transition from some of the more fun lifestyle stories and pieces to hard news. And I think growing as a journalist, you have to realize the importance of all of it, about telling the truth, but also celebrating the accomplishments. And there's a very delicate balance that you have to touch on as a news station. And the hard news element, it was quite a transition, especially on the morning show. You're doing the morning show from 4:30 to 7, and you don't want to be telling everyone about all of the terrible news and the terrible things going on in the world every day.
Got up.
Right.
Please give me a break.
And then we were there during midday, giving developments of those stories.
Right.
So it did become a little difficult at one point just to be telling these stories for about 5 hours of the day and developing those. So Positively Central Texas was something that I felt like I needed, but also wanted to connect with the community on a different level.
And viewers, they are clear. We get so depressed watching the news.
Yes.
I've heard that many times. Well, think how depressing it can be. Bringing you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Mugshot after mugshot and all that kind of thing. And I really think local news coverage has really morphed into something different.
Definitely. And
now.
I think I learned also during the time where we were covering the Midland and Odessa shootings, this really hit hard. I think there was about 2 weeks where I didn't sleep because I had these terrible nightmares of my loved ones. And I don't think people realize that on our side of how invested and involved we are. And it wasn't until going through that I did seek professional help because I really was not sleeping. And so the person that was counseling me at the time and getting me through some of that grief process said that journalists have sort of a secondhand PTSD because it's almost like we're there because we are really putting ourselves there by getting all of the details. We can already make an image in our head of what that looks like.
Yeah, and sometimes you see the image.
True.
We don't necessarily put it on the air.
Right.
But the reporter at the scene often sees things that
Yes. So
it's like first responders. That always made me so much more empathetic toward those first responders because they deal with that every day.
Absolutely.
Too,
Yeah, so it was a little bit different from the journalist perspective, but there's still some things that you kind of go through there. But Positively Central Texas was just a great way to connect with viewers in a different way and celebrate all of these wonderful nonprofits and people.
So many great things happening.
And I think that really created a great path for me here at the Chamber to know all of these wonderful things already happening in Central Texas.
You had quite a base of knowledge already.
Yes.
Of things that were happening. Well, but you also are a business owner yourself with your wonderful hunter. In fact, I remember when he popped the question and I got to see the video from all that and got to sort of be
you were there through all of it.
Through all of it and have such a fondness, obviously, for you, Andrea. But Hunter, very fortunate young man.
I'm so fortunate.
But he's a sharp fellow, and so tell us about his business and what he does and your role in what he does for a living.
Absolutely. So Hunter's stepfather was a truck driver for about 27 years, and Hunter is just this master negotiator. He's got the most incredible mind. And so he's a Baylor graduate, and then he got his master's at UT Dallas, all in entrepreneurship and business. And so when he saw a need for my stepfather-in-law, John, going through, Hunter would really help him and find these ways that people were maybe taking advantage of John as a truck driver. Oh. And so Hunter would go in and negotiate on his behalf and say, hey, you should not accept this or you should accept this. And he sort of found a pathway for his own business through that. So he started a trucking company, and through that trucking company really helped the truck drivers that worked with him to, be able to accept rates that were good or fight for better rates, really empower the truck drivers. And through that, he found that brokering might be a better route. So he ended up giving all of the truck drivers about a year, wonderful recommendation letters, helped them find whatever they needed, and then went full time into starting his brokerage, which has been great. So we co-run the Twisted Nail together. And whenever I was full-time on the team, he had every single team member learn about what it is like to be a truck driver, what it is like to own your own equipment, what those costs are, what the insurance is, what, is going on in your life. And so we can really prepare to actually negotiate for somebody that you have at least some level of an understanding of everything that they're going through, so you can fight better for every single person who's joining our team. Right.
Well, and it's the kind of thing that is helping. I think anytime your choice of work as a vocation is something that makes you feel like I'm really contributing to other people's lives besides putting food on the table. That just makes you want to get up in the morning and go to work.
Absolutely. I mean, you're seeing all of these supply chain issues, and a lot of
truckers are in the news a good bit. Yeah,
definitely. And I think it's been in the works for a long time. The truckers have not necessarily been compensated or felt like they could have the power. And so brokers typically have a pretty bad rap, but we try to be very honest in every way, shape, and form, and make sure that the truckers feel the trust with us that, we're no forced dispatch. So even if we offer jobs to the trucks working with us, they can say, oh no, I don't think
I want to do that.
Yeah,
right.
I want to go to my daughter's dance recital or whatever it may be. So we don't force them to say, hey, take this job. We worked so hard. Yeah. We say, hey, do you want this job? Do you want this rate? And so we do things a little bit differently over at Twisted Nail as well.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a fascinating aspect of business I'm not that familiar with. But I'm sure you've seen through your work with the Chamber a lot of different types of business, Hispanic-owned businesses. What do you think are some of the more creative?
We work with all small to medium-sized businesses. We are the Hispanic Chamber, and I think everyone in the community can have some role. So it's not always just Hispanic-owned businesses or majority. So we get a little bit of everybody helping everybody, and then we also obviously have a very big heart and passion for helping the Hispanic community and the Hispanic leaders grow within Waco. But one of the coolest businesses that I've really gotten close with and gotten to know this year was Casa de Castillo.
Oh, yeah.
They have celebrated 100 years
I know.
of serving wonderful food in Waco
Yes.
to locals. And I don't know if a whole lot of people know that they were pretty pivotal in bringing pizza to Waco.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So back when there were military bases in Waco, you had all these people from all different parts of the world.
Sure.
And this Italian airman was talking about this thing called pizza. And the owners of I think it was before it was Italian Village, I believe. But the owners of one of their restaurants said, hey, teach us how to make this thing called pizza. And he had experience from a Chicago restaurant. So they got together and made pizza. It became a hit in Waco. And isn't that the craziest story?
Right. And so the Italian Village, right there on North 15A, right next to Wells Bookkeeping Service, which was my grandfather's bookkeeping business.
Really?
So I'm very familiar with
Small
the Italian
world.
Village. Yes, and of course the Castillo family, Lucille Castillo and my mother were in high school together.
Wow.
Lucille, wonderful tennis player, and I played many wonderful tennis matches with Lucille. She has now passed on, but
They have such
their
an incredible
family
history.
Yes.
Yes.
Their family is much beloved, and and it's the kind of restaurant that people go to every week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I am one of those.
Yeah, one of that. Yes. Wednesdays.
Yes. Right.
Oh, but there are some great new ones that I know. I follow you on social media, and you're always popping into a new business. Like is it Bombas?
Oh, bombones.
Bombones. Okay.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
great.
tried them out, and
Have you been by?
yeah.
Oh, they're so good.
I've been there to eat. Yeah, I had lunch there. Wonderful, and they were just delightful.
Yes, absolutely wonderful. They've catered our events for our luncheons. We were able, Alfred, my predecessor, and I were able to go and do a tasting before they had opened, and they came out with such good food. They had,
Did you try the flan?
yes, oh my gosh, and I have to keep going back for some fun.
Yeah, if you just want dessert.
Yes, so
Try
good.
that. Yeah, they need their signage. They're still kind of working on that, I think, because it's a little bit hard to find.
Yeah, they're a little tucked away. They're over by
Yeah.
Black Daisy Boutique, but I
Right.
know that's going to
Kinda
be
behind-
an up and coming area.
Behind that.
Right?
Oh yeah. That they're calling that Uptown.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
yeah.
That kind of section of Washington. Yeah, it's just off Washington. Wonderfully. Well, we're going to take a little break, but when we come back, I want to hear a little more about Andrea. So, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
Hi, this is Sarah,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
And we're back again with Andrea Kosar, who is the, I'm sorry, you were on the air. You're Andrea Morgan, CEO and president of the Hispanic Chamber of Cen-Tex Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Waco. And so did they just call you, or did you see the job posting, or did you know, I think this is next on my career path? How did that all work out?
Someone had recommended me for the position, and I was pretty active. My husband and I were in Buda for a little while. We were there for about a year and a half. And it's funny, he's from Bosqueville, so all of his family is out here locally in Waco. And I still wanted to be very active with the organizations. I was emceeing some events for Creative Waco and still trying to come to the Hispanic Chamber events. So we were driving back to Waco, back and forth, at least 3 to 4 times a week, and we were just ready to get back.
Why are we doing this?
Right. And so when they called me, I was like, yes. When do I interview? How do I get there? And so it was great. They had a search committee put together, and so I would come out to Waco, and it was nerve-wracking but exciting.
Yeah, how long a process was the interview process?
It was a couple weeks. They they had their search committee, and then they brought in a few more folks for another one of the interviews, they said, it'll be about 6 weeks. And then they called me about a week or two later, and they said, hey, we pulled together a meeting, and we'd like to get you on. And so my husband and I were ready to move back to Waco, but it was quick. And so we just were trying to get over to Waco, get housing, get everything. And
which is tricky.
Yes, I was about to say. Yes, we decided just to rent for right now and then try to figure out, during that time period, housing, because it was very difficult to buy. You have to be ready to buy on the spot.
Right, if you see something that will work for you. No, I know. I mean, housing is changing. The real estate market's changing a little bit right now. But anyway, no, I feel for you in that situation. That was just not that many months ago.
Right.
I know that there's like a 3-pronged strategic initiative for the chamber. I was reading about this. I want to talk, and you've talked about what you're doing for those with limited English proficiency and, how to go about helping. But what are some of the other initiatives you have?
Definitely.
Online?
So another thing that we're working on, we have our Director of Economic Development, Eric Terrasas. He is working on an overlay for the LaSalle corridor. And that's a great project.
That's kind of where you're located.
Yes.
Your building is there, so you have kind of a vested interest in the neighborhood.
Definitely. He's working on LaSalle and 25th Street, which there's a large Hispanic-owned business population on 25th Street.
Yes.
And we also do a lot of our events over there, too. So we're kind of in both, and we're trying to make sure that both of those corridors have the opportunity to grow in their local businesses and restaurants. And so we're trying to find unique ways to help out to make sure that those are both destinations rather than, LaSalle, it's a 40, people are driving 60 through to get to somewhere else.
Right.
We want to have people, open their small businesses and have success right next to Baylor's campus over on LaSalle.
Well, it's an ideal and logical place to see growth happening in that area from the flea market at the old drive-in theater to the new food truck space that has just opened there, and some other, neat little antique shops like Riverside Relics. So, there's just some great little businesses there to take your time.
Yes, absolutely. And we want to see a little bit more. We've been studying university towns similar to ones like Waco and Baylor, and seeing how they do things right next to campus. And it's a lot more pedestrian friendly. You've got the food truck parks and the little plazas. So we're trying to figure out what are our next steps to where we can imagine what LaSalle will look like and have more success for the existing small businesses and the new small businesses going to LaSalle.
Yeah, isn't the Salvation Army building something?
They are making a move to LaSalle Avenue, so we want to make sure that they're comfortable and the small businesses are comfortable, and that we can find ways for everyone to win on LaSalle as well.
Right, absolutely. Let's talk about you, though. Now, where are you from originally? You say you came to Baylor. How did you end up at Baylor?
Oh, gosh, all over. I was born in Hillsboro, but I had only lived there about 3 months. My family was stationed in Bolivia, and so we lived in Bolivia for the first few years of my life. And then when we made it back to the States, gosh, we lived in Alabama and Tennessee, Florida, back in Tennessee, mainly grew up in Fort Myers, Florida. And then I went to the university in my hometown for the first year, had a tough first year. It was a little bit traumatic. And so I took a year off of college and looked at new universities. And a lot of my family members had either gone to West Point or to Baylor. And my brother was at West Point at the time. My mom cried for about 2 weeks and locked herself in her room when he went there. So there was no chance that I could go there. And so I was very excited. I had grown up visiting Texas. I have a lot of family in Hillsboro, so I'd grown up around the area. And so I was excited to go to Baylor. My grandfather's plaque is right next to the bear pit, right by that bench right there.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, as
one of the red lampposts.
Exactly.
Yes.
I have an uncle who, he was killed. He was killed in World War II, and he was a law student at Baylor, and So his name, I'll look for it.
Lowell E. Morgan. Yes, he was. He was killed in Vietnam War. He was a helicopter pilot, and so Baylor was honoring all of the fallen soldiers. And so my grandfather's plaque is right next to a bench on the bear pit. It was my favorite spot on campus. If I ever had to think or just clear my head before a test or anything, I would just sit on that bench over by the bears and by the plaque. It was really nice.
Yeah. Well, you wear green beautifully.
I had to for you, Anne.
I know. I should have worn gold. I don't know what I was thinking. Yes, it's so that strong tie to Waco, I would hope, has you sending out deep roots. But where do you see yourself in 5 years? What kind of goals do you have down the road?
Well, I hope that the Hispanic Chamber really does all of these marvelous things right now. One of our partnerships that I'm so excited for, we have an alliance with CTAC, the African American Chamber of Commerce, so Cen-Tex African American Chamber of Commerce here. And we, I say we, it was really Alfred and John had come together. They went into their roles around the same time. They both, so it was 2019, right before the pandemic, and had a lot of similar challenges, were doing so many similar things within the two chambers, so they had become really close. And thankfully, when I got into my role, I inherited a little bit of that relationship with John Bible. He's been fantastic. And
he's been on this.
Oh, great! Yes. So we have all of these mutual connections.
Have all these mutual connections. Yeah.
But yes, John has really taken me under his wing, and they had started a partnership before I got into my role called Starbridge. Their logo is the star, ours is the bridge. And so it's really this alliance to the community to say, hey, we are seeing where there's overlap in both of our communities and pooling our resources together and working together.
Makes sense.
So it's been really exciting. We are trying to do more for our youth. I have a huge passion for trying to keep talent in Waco because when I had graduated from Baylor, it was really hard to keep graduates here, but would love to see more of the TSDC, Baylor, MCC, and high school graduates stay here. And so we're trying to find ways.
Well, you're a success story as far as I'm concerned. On that score.
You too, Anne. Oh my gosh. And you've paved the way for so many wonderful people. But yeah, so we're trying to create new initiatives through Starbridge.
Yeah.
And right now we're in the planning phase of something for high schoolers to be recognized as leaders, but also have opportunities to get exposure in businesses and nonprofits and in the schools around here in Waco to see what opportunities there are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there are a lot.
Yes.
There are a lot. Of course, years ago, when I was, people are like, just get me out of town. I've got to get out of this one-horse town, And Waco is not perceived that way anymore.
Oh, no. And I think Waco is one of those gems where if you see it and you see the value, then you see it. And some people still don't. But I think there's an overwhelming majority that's like, hey, look, Waco has all of these wonderful opportunities.
And it's the proximity to Dallas and Houston and Austin, or you can be there in a day and come back home.
And I just learned
wonderful.
We are the 24th largest city in Texas, and like you said, we're so strategically placed between Dallas and Austin. There's so much growth happening right here between Waco and Temple too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, no question about it. Well, I'd like to end these visits with a little questionnaire similar to the one the late, great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actor's Studio. It's kind of like my take on it.
Oh, great.
A few questions. So I'll ask you, what is your favorite word?
Empowerment.
I can see that. What is your least favorite word?
Oh, man. Anne coming in with the hard questions. Let's see. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Maybe, probably would be.
Really? I've never heard that one before, but that's good. I mean, I get it. I understand. It's just...
It doesn't give you anything.
It doesn't give you anything. Okay. All right. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
A community. I think Waco, there's so much to... there's so much community here and people bringing you into the mix. And I was really nervous coming into this role. I think especially after working in the news world where it can almost be like, I had a tough time, so you have to have a tough time. I never had that with you. You were always such a wonderful mentor. But coming into the nonprofit world here in Waco, I was nervous about having a similar experience. Right. But there are so many wonderful women and wonderful people and organizations that are just coming in and saying, hey, we're a community, we're going to support you. And it's been great.
Mm-hmm. Well, what turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Let's see. I think exclusion sometimes. And again, I'm sure that you understand. I don't know if Waco has always been a space for everyone. There's been so many rooms that I've been in recently where I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many female executives in this room. Yeah. And I don't think it was always like that. And so there is a lot more inclusion and a lot more people making space for people who are different from them. But anytime there's a little bit of exclusion, I'm like, what is happening? This isn't where we're going.
This isn't right. This is not right. What sound do you love the most?
Oh, I just love people's accents from different countries because it shows that Waco is really growing and that we're bringing in all these new cultures and people from different places. So I love new accents.
Oh. What sound do you like the least? I won't say hate, but.
That's a good question. Oh, I hate the word MOIST, but I think I'm in the majority there.
I've heard that too. What other profession would you like to have tried? Or, I mean, you're very young, you've got all kinds of wonderful things have happened thus far, but anything that maybe when you were little was like, oh, I want to be...
When I was a kid, I always wanted to run an orphanage one day.
Really?
Yes. So I don't know. Maybe one day there's hope for that and maybe through the Hispanic Chamber. Who knows? But just a center for where kids can come and get everything that they need to set them up for success in life and always feel like they have people who are in their corner.
Yeah, very good. What profession do you know you would not want? What job would you? That's not for me.
Oh, that's a great question. I can't think of anything. I I'm one of those people. I just want to try everything.
Okay. well, all right. Yes, because when little kiddos come along, you will be a nurse, you will be a you will be a maid, you will be a waitress.
A little bit of everything, yes.
You will do all those things that I probably would not want to ever do, but you get to be that in other roles. But all right, the last question. What do you want to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, welcome. All of these dogs have been waiting for you. I want to meet all of the dogs in heaven, everybody's dog.
That's right. You do have a passion for helping to place.
You introduced me to my first dog with your shows.
I remember.
Yes. I was the first dog I met at the news station. You had Hazelnut right next to you. Her name was Tinsel at the time. And I said, that dog is mine.
That's right. Oh, you still have her? I mean,
oh,
she's
yes.
Good. I got to see a picture.
Yes. She's all grown up.
That's
now.
right. I remember when you went, I think I need to adopt this
Yes.
dog. That was great. Well, we have had some wonderful times together.
Yes.
And I hope many more to come.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate your time because I know you are a very busy lady. You're emceeing all over town. And
Trying to catch up with you, I'm telling you.
You are a wonderful successor to all these different MC jobs. But yeah, you're just doing a beautiful job. And all the best to you in what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Ann.
Andrea, love you.
Love you too.
Glad you were with us. Join us again for Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.